Hey, and welcome back to the Wicked Wild Podcast, a feral podcast for the uncivilized horror fans. And it's week 2 of John's curated cacophony of Cage classics. And this week, the devil won. I'm going to just say it now. This movie broke me.
Oh, no.
Get to that in a moment. But first, let's introduce everybody who's here tonight. We got John up in Michigan. How's it going, John?
It's going.
So I know you didn't mean to hurt me. But I feel like that's not really an acceptable excuse with this level of violence. I don't think that just saying you didn't know. I think ignorance is not an acceptable excuse for what you've done to me. So anyway, give me a snack and drink pairing recommendation for this Cage catastrophe.
Man, there's only 2 things that you could have with this movie. Is you got to have a big tall glass of mead to go along with a biscuit and some honey on it.
Honey on a biscuit. Well, that sounds so much more pleasant than this movie deserves. So I appreciate you giving it at least a pass on that. So Jamie, up in New Jersey, how's it going?
It's going.
It is going.
Yeah.
For those not watching on YouTube, my buddy has her Winnie the Pooh Oh Bother shirt on, and it's fantastic. And I'm feeling like that may be the energy of the evening. But I do have a question for you.
This shirt fits so many of the themes that were going on today.
Exactly. So, real quick, short question for you, Jamie.
Yeah, what's up?
This or Midsummer? What's the better folk horror movie? Because you're the folk horror authority on the podcast.
I want to piss you all off. This, I'm putting this above fucking Midsummer.
Wow. Okay.
Done.
Shots
Piss
fired.
me off.
I love it.
I didn't die inside when you said that at all. So
I'm going to kill you some more in a little bit. Wait.
Because you enjoy this movie?
No, but we'll get there.
So we don't have Eli again tonight. So we don't have a Wicker Whisper. I'm just going to say, just assume that everything around you, that the government and the aliens and the cryptids are doing is just meant to end your life. Just assume that, and we'll move forward. I think
and just assume that when Eli comes back, we'll need to give him his own, like a 45-minute just Wicked Whisper, so he could just.
I think the better option is just to tell him that in his absence, we decided that totally changed the pace of the episode, and we just removed Wicked Whispers. just go past it. Don't reference it. If he asks about it, we'll say, "Hey, we had a board meeting and decided we're not doing those anymore." Just to see the final vestiges of his connection to reality. Tear free and send him adrift.
It's quite the picture.
But we are going to jump right into the movie review for the evening. If you haven't already figured it out, or if you blindly are going through these and don't have any idea what we reviewed for this particular episode, it's The Wicker Man, the Cage version, 2006. But before we get into it, we're going to get a quick on-the-fly synopsis. Jamie had to do the last one, so she's going to be my interviewee for this evening. Another short, simple question for you, Jamie. Just trying to keep it as clean and simple as possible. So which of the following would have been a much more accurate and better name for this movie? Option 1, The Liar, The Witch, and the Board Bro. Or The Young and the Feckless.
The Young and the what?
Feckless.
The second one, The Young and the Feckless.
The Young and the Feckless. Well, John.
No.
As our lover of everything soap opera.
Oh, of course. Obviously. Huge fan.
Tell us about this next track on your list. Tell us about The Wicker Man.
All right. The Wicker Man. We have a police officer who gets a mysterious letter to come help save a child. He gets there, and it's all a big ruse.
That's it?
Done. That's it.
Okay.
I mean, there's a lot more we can discuss, but that's pretty much the movie.
And as we'll discuss later, that's like the start of most every 90s comedy movie as well.
Mm-hmm.
all a big trick. So, John, as we're here in the Rock of Cages that you curated for us.
How many
these bad? Oh man, keep it going. This is some high quality.
It's the only thing keeping me alive at this point, John. It's the only thing I have to hold on to.
It's got to get better, right?
So tell us about this movie, why you selected it. I know you gave us a little foreshadowing last time, but you haven't seen most of these movies. I don't know if you've seen this one before.
Nope, but, haven't seen it.
So tell us about your experience with it.
Oh, well, I mean, part of the reason why I picked this movie is we already did the original Wicker Man, and I'd heard this is like one of the worst movies ever. And I learned that apparently I can really mess up, I guess, my expectations, because I really thought this was going to be an entirely incompetent movie. It's pretty awful. However, my expectations were so low. I was like, this is nowhere near as bad as it was made out to be. However, it is not a good movie. It does have some interesting Nick Cage on his own island inside of a movie with other actors moments, though, for sure.
Yes, it does.
And man, if you're into that, then you'll have probably a decent time. And I think that's where I'm at with Nick Cage. So that's why I was like, this wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, the undirectable Nick Cage is on show here.
Oh, it's impressive. His kicks are quite stunning. And I felt like I was watching a Tom Cruise movie for a moment, because why do we have to watch him run everywhere?
Why is he underwater so much too?
Why is he in a freaking bear suit too? I've got questions. I've got a lot of questions.
And man, you want to talk about like violence to women?
Oh yeah.
Like, I was like, man, they went for it. I was not expecting that.
Yeah, when he literally right hooks the barkeeper, I'm like, oh, okay.
This is where we're at.
I don't think that was a director's note. I think he just chose to do that.
You know what? Gender equality. She fucking deserved it.
And she's every bit as big or bigger than him to start with.
Oh, bigger.
Leelee Sobieski, maybe not so much.
Yeah.
That was a surprise too. I couldn't believe she was in this movie.
Yeah. I was trying to remember what we saw her in, but it was the
Joyride.
Joyride. Yeah. I knew we had seen
movie.
And it's funny, and I don't want to read too much into this, but this movie and Feast and Pan's Labyrinth all in 06. What a smorgasbord of movies.
What a year.
Wow. How did this? I remember seeing the ads for this. And also, I almost forgot. This may be the first like font of papyrus I've seen in a movie. Like, I don't think Avatar came before this, did it?
Nope. This was one of the first. And interestingly enough,
my favorite SNL sketch.
And a symbol that we're going to talk about more is that's also the same font that the original Wicker Man originally used. So,
okay. So the original Wicker Man.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. I guess Dave. My thoughts on this movie. This movie's a hot mess. But if you go on for the Nick Cage stuff, if that's what your thing is, where I'm at, it's an okay time. However, yeah, I don't recommend this movie to anybody ever.
You'll never speak of it again?
No. And we didn't get the B scene. And I was wondering where that was. Jamie said, don't watch it there because it's not there.
It's not on there.
Yeah, and I already did.
I did minor investigating on that. Very minor.
Yeah.
Y'all were talking about that on our Discord this afternoon. I watched it last night. And all I could think when y'all were talking about they've taken out the B scene is there is no amount of B scene that's going to fix this movie.
Yeah.
But it's like the thing that everybody references from this always. Yeah. And then it's not even in the cut that most people can watch. And I did a little bit of because so it's like now I'm going on a tangent. Kind of, but it's like it went viral on the internet, like it's like as a GIF and as a meme and as a response to things. But it's like I think now someone's gonna have to correct me wrong because I only got like 2 Reddits in. I didn't get very far. Some people are saying it was just a DVD cut, like an extended cut. So that's where people saw it, but that you never actually saw it this is like a Mandela effect thing. I mean, it really exists. Yeah. It does exist. But there's like a conversation about what cut it's actually in. Yeah. So like how often you actually see it. So like we both rented it and we didn't see it because it's not in like every cut of this movie. So I don't know. But it is on the internet because I watched it right after because
it's something.
I had already seen it.
So let's find out if I saw it. Is it the scene in the beehive field when the bees attack him?
No.
It's the scene.
Then I didn't see it either.
Oh, it's like so it's well, we'll talk about when we get to the movie then. I'll explain the scene because I've watched it, but
fair enough. John, are those all your overall notes?
Yeah. I mean, we got like the kid.
We got plenty to talk about.
Yeah, we got plenty to talk about how but yeah, like it was the Nick Cage ism of it. I would say this is like the origin film for the weird kind of crazy.
Agreed. Yeah, this is where his reputation took a hard left. And I think it was already headed that way because of the catastrophe that the Ghost Rider movies were.
Oh yeah, those were before this?
Yeah, but this leaned into it. I'm pretty sure. Let me check real quick. I assumed they were.
Yeah. But no, I'm anxious to see how bad we hurt you though with this movie. I mean, because
I thought we were friends. I'll just put it that way.
Wait till I speak.
Oh,
this came out the year after. I mean, this came out the year before Ghost Rider.
Oh, okay.
Ghost Rider came out the year after. Okay. All right, Jamie, tell us all about it. How much you love this movie?
I've never seen this. Much like I never saw the original that you guys made me suffer through. But I don't even really have much to say about this movie. My thoughts on the original are known. So like as far as the like plot of this movie or this movie is not a straight for shot remake like some movies we watch, but it is very similar in a lot of the major scenes. There are some big changes which we'll talk about, or like plot changes, like whatever. But like overall, if you've seen the original, you know where this is going. You know exactly, like, you know, why he's there, what's going to happen, where, you know, some of that kind of stuff. I was also very distracted while watching this because I knew I wouldn't really like it. And I was trying to get a million things done, but I like was trying to pay attention. But I'm about to completely break Dave and say that based on all that, I basically feel the same way about this one that I feel about the original. Like you could give me either and I wouldn't even. They're both like, they're on the same level for me because to the same degree, like this is boring to me. It's dull. It's poorly made. So more than the original. Sorry, the original was not poorly made, but so like, it's worse than the original in that kind of aspect. But like, is it the worst thing I've ever seen? Absolutely not. Is it probably even the worst thing that we've watched? Probably not, but I'd have to think. But like, is it something I would ever recommend or watch again? No. I had to seek out the scene that everybody talks about, which we're talking about right here. So it wasn't even in the fucking movie. And that's all I've ever heard about this movie. And it wasn't even there. But it's a movie. That's really all I could say. It's neither exciting nor it is what it is. It's hard because we've watched the original. I couldn't even tell you if this is like suspenseful or like if the twist, and I'm using air quotes, works. Like, yeah, because again, it's a remake of something we also kind of fairly recently watched it, and that's not even a knock. It's just like, so it's like, I'm just like rewatching a modernized version of that movie with some changes, but not enough changes to make this interesting. You know what I mean? So it's like, I know what's going to happen. So it's just like, So, yeah. But I mean, there's plenty for us to talk about as far as what happens in this movie, but overall thoughts of it are it's a movie that I will never watch again. The end.
Fair enough. So, we had a good run. It's been nice knowing you guys. You know, I respect you.
I don't think you do.
It's not me.
Debatable.
It's you. No, seriously. That was not as bad as I thought it would be, Jamie. You kind of had me worried there. But,
no, I thought in the moment where I said that they're both the same,
yeah,
me might break your heart.
I mean, I peed a little. Let's just be honest. But my nose is bleeding just a smidge. But we're going to get into it. So this is my first time watching this movie, but that's because this movie is famously bad. I mean, it's a meme. Mm-hmm. This movie is literally a horror community meme of how not to make a movie. And it's like one of the three that's always referenced about why you don't remake classics. This movie is one of those. And a lot of that is just because, and this is very well established in our review of the first one, the original, how much that movie meant to me. Like that movie to me was a unicorn. It shouldn't exist. The freaking studio that produced it literally tried to bury it, and it still got out there thanks to the champions of people like Christopher Lee and some American producers that showed up and saw some potential. But that movie was supposed to fail, but it didn't. And the story was so unique. It was so different, and it birthed. Well, I'm being hyperbolic. It didn't birth the folk horror in film, but it certainly gave it a much more mass appeal than any of the folk horror that had come before it. It was important, is my point. I still want to say I hated this so much after all of that, after knowing I was not going to enjoy it, trying to set all that aside so that I could be a good sport and, see Cage do what Cage does. I hated this movie. I hated the Cage we got. I hated the character he was playing. I'm going to be really honest. I assume tonight is just the opportunity for all of us to eviscerate this movie. I'm surprised that y'all came out as even killed. I literally, and this is something I've never said before, I feel like Eli in this moment of y'all saying, it's fine. No, this movie is not fine. It's not okay. If that's not the case, if we're not going to trash this, I just need to say, for any of our audience that holds this movie in some sort of honorific position.
Would anybody really?
Ooh, it has 15% of Rotten Tomatoes.
Well, that's 15% in case they're listening to us.
Yeah. Let me just preface this. If that's one of you I'm not sorry for what's about to happen. You won't enjoy this, and it won't be over quickly. That's my promise to you.
Wow. I'm excited for this.
I still don't understand who thought this would be a good idea. First to remake. I was
about to ask that. Yeah. Like, why remake this movie?
Yeah. I mean, even as a money-hungry studio who just saw the opportunity to flip a franchise and quote-unquote modernize it just to make a couple of bucks, why would you do it so poorly? I mean, and we talked about this on Ravenous, Jamie and John, if you remember. That was a movie that was just a production catastrophe, but they still came out with a product that was decent because you had directors and actors who still valued the product enough to try and uplift it out of the burning tire fire that it was. This movie is just, nobody seems to be making an effort to have an original thought. I mean, we joked about this in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake. Like, that's just a whitewashed version of the first one. That's very much what this movie is, but it's worse. This is, and I thought about this. This is officially the worst version of Cage I've seen in a really long time. Like, this Cage is the same Cage that we were getting back in the 90s when he was playing a lot of the secondary characters. His character is a complete, insufferable ass bastard throughout the entire movie. Like, he is written to be an overt masculine personality. I get that. And I get what part that plays in the story that they're telling. But he's so unbelievably obtuse and overacting and melodramatic that it just comes across as insufferable. That's the only word I know for it. The acting and the dialogue struggle at times to rise to the level of mid-level afternoon melodrama. That's why I made the soap opera joke before. The dialogue is so friggin' bad. Why the hell would a traffic cop from California think he has the authority or the detective skills to take on a missing persons case 2 fucking states away?
I think that's more the writers.
These are only a few of the questions that we're going to get to. Remember the scream scene in Babadook in the car? When the kids having to come apart?
Please don't make me have to think of that scene.
I will watch that on loop for 4 hours solid. Before I watch this piece of
way.
100%.
Talk about insufferable.
And I'll be happy to do it. This is my antlers
versus 4 hours.
Yeah. That Babadook kid, fuck him. I can't.
This is my antlers. This is not just a movie.
Wow.
This is an abomination that undermines and devalues everything that filmmaking as an art form should stand for.
Whoa.
That's my statement.
I love it.
Wow.
There will be no questions.
Not asking any.
So those are my overall thoughts on this film.
Wow. Okay.
I tried so hard with this movie to give it an opportunity, and it just kept kicking me in the balls.
Oh no. Yeah. No.
I mean, yeah.
Go ahead. Yeah. I was going to hand off whoever wants to start the conversation.
No, yeah. Okay. Can I just start? Because I have a question at the beginning. So let's just start. Let's go chronologically through the movie. So my question is, because I can't remember, and we know how I feel about the original, but why does he come in the original? Like, it's same thing. It's a missing girl, but like this, is it the same? Does he get an anonymous? So now this is not an anonymous letter. It's from his ex-fiance saying in this movie, it's his ex-fiance saying her daughter is missing. Why does he come in the original?
Yeah. In the original, he gets an anonymous letter.
Okay.
He doesn't know the person. There's no point of reference.
Just a missing person.
And he shows up on the island in his own seaplane like a sick ass boss.
Okay. That was just question one. Because the setup of this movie already is different and stupider. So it's like his ex-fiance has a child that really his cop friend in the beginning, who's just like, why the fuck would you even give this girl the time of day? Was completely right. So this woman went off and had a kid with someone else. Well, spoiler alert, whatever. But like in his mind, went off and had a kid with someone else or whatever, and is now writing to you. Please. She also took off on you. She ghosted you. She went back to her home island, had a kid with someone else, but now needs your help to find this kid.
Yeah.
And
remember,
she kept the ring too.
Yeah. Remember.
Yeah.
He's a fucking CHIPS cop. He's a California Highway Patrol officer who's going to go off to Washington
and
solve a murder mystery.
It's very California of him, if you think about it.
And in the original, one more question. In the original, the missing girl, her parents or anybody related to her are involved or are not involved, like the mother is in this one?
We never met the mother in the original.
So we need nobody.
We're just looking for the kid.
Okay.
But we know the village is lying to us. Like there's all
But you also don't have this woman playing this weird role of like, something happened to my daughter, but it's very obvious of what happened to my daughter in this town, but something happened to my daughter. Like the setup of there actually being a mom involved in this is so fucking dumb.
Yeah. And why does she have to have such an upsetting face?
She keeps playing dumb to him, but he's presenting her with these things that are blatantly happening, or things that are like the daughter's blatantly involved in this festival last year or whatever, and then she's just like, "Oh, I don't know. No, yes, I don't know. I don't know what that means." Like, why even have the mother there? Because she just infuriated me with like the playing dumb role or like lying to him. Like, it's obviously a lie. Like everything he's finding out, she's acting either not surprised by it or like she lives in this community. She knows what goes on. And she's just doing this dumb, like, my daughter's not dead, but she's missing, but she's not. And then she goes to the fucking festival. Like, we get it in the end. Why? But what I'm saying is, like, for us as a viewer to even make this mysterious or be intrigued, like, this character shouldn't even exist.
No.
It takes all of that out of it. Like, it makes this just like, what the fuck is going on? Because like, she's either not concerned at all, or she's not even a red herring. Like, it's kind of obvious that she must know what's going on. And it's just like so dumb.
Yeah.
And then when you get the reveal in the end, it's like, yeah, no fucking shit, because this didn't make sense. Of course she was involved. Like, it couldn't make sense without her being involved.
Exactly. And I involuntarily booed in my own den at the moment when she quote unquote reveals, and he is aghast that it's his daughter. Brother, that's fucking math. Just do the math. Shit, that's question one.
He never even asked it. Yeah, when he reads the note, he doesn't even say, "Oh, maybe this is my child." Like,
yeah,
just ask the age, do the math.
Simple math. Just look at the picture. You can get to the age.
He hasn't acquired those dad skills yet. He might not be able to identify age.
Yeah.
So that's like a big difference in this one. I mean, there's a few, but that's like one of the big difference in this one.
How
that
stupid
makes this
it
movie
is.
so much worse. Well, it's like I said, her being involved is dumb because she's not helping even us feel more mystery about this place. She's literally making me sit here and go, no shit, you're involved. Like, can we just get to that point? Because this is so fucking dumb. Like,
so obvious.
It's so obvious, especially when she's at the fucking festival and or whatever. And she goes, I had to come. Like, are you fucking kidding me?
And then the big reveal that she's the daughter of Sister Summerall. And I'm like, I don't care.
We need more twists, Dave.
The big reveal that they plot this out, that they go to fucking California to seek out men that they know they can make fall in love with them. Wait, so they go to California,
lonely
simps, seek out men that they know they can make fall in love with them so much that they could like reproduce a child, I guess, right? Is this where just to come back to him 9 years later, whatever, and lure him to an island for a sacrifice. Like, what the fuck? Like, I don't even understand.
By the way, from a culture that has nothing to do with the region where their island is.
What?
One of my other frustrations, they're talking about all this paganism and they name dropped Salem. Like, oh yeah, we tried to do this in Salem, but they were frowned upon, all of our feminine gods and everything.
Oh.
Go away now. Go away now. Stop it.
Also, so for a movie that we tried to modernize, a classic, an original, once you get to this island, nothing is modern besides his non-working cell phone. So why do we have to modernize a movie?
Don't.
I'm glad they kept reminding us that he couldn't use the cell phone. Every 5 minutes.
It never serves any purpose, just that he can't use the cell phone. We get it. Like,
he literally could have just dropped it on the
water.
dock.
Yeah, I think he could have just thrown it in the water. We would have had the same.
But then you wouldn't have him get the call from Pete.
For the record, he went swimming so much. How is that phone not destroyed? Did I miss him take it out of his pocket?
Those were
a Nokia.
Soap opera dream sequences.
Oh my God. The dream sequence within a dream sequence, or whatever the fuck happened on the dock. Like, I was my just favorite. Like, did I just accidentally rewind this? What just happened?
And there were choices made.
Before we leave her behind, because I'm in complete agreement with you, Jamie, the Willow character that they
added, the mom,
no purpose.
No.
But it was upsetting to me to see them use the Mithrigan bot for this character in this movie. Like, every time I saw her, that's all I could think about was that.
Now I can't unsee that one.
Exactly.
I thought she was prettier. Well, Mithrigan's young, so I guess that's weird. But yeah,
and I had forgotten all about this. What is her name? Kate Beahan. And nothing against this human being, but I totally forgot that she was in like everything for like 2 or 3 years.
Was she? Because I looked her up because I couldn't figure out who she was. I was like, how have I never seen this woman before? Yeah. Like, how is she in this movie? And I've just never seen her before. I knew the other people. I love Frances Conroy. I love when she fucking shows up and shit.
Oh, yeah.
No matter how bad
it's going to be fun with her.
Yeah, no matter how bad it is, as long as she fucking shows.
Well, and every time I see Kate Beahan, all I think is Fiona Apple. She looks just like Fiona Apple.
Oh, yeah. It's the eyes, right?
Yeah, it's the ghost eyes.
Yeah.
She's dead inside. That's the problem. She's a robot.
Just got real.
Do you want me to keep pointing out things about the original? Because this is what I keep doing. I also want
because I don't really remember the original that much.
I have another question on paper. Did they have the fucking evil monologue in the original, or we were smart enough as an audience to figure it out on our own? Like, they literally stand here in this and give a whole expose, like a whole monologue, and not even just one. I feel like 4 people get fucking involved in this monologue
for the same content.
Tell you why he's there and that that it's him instead, and that she was never a sacrifice. And they explain everything from the daughter meeting him 9 years ago, whatever, until now, so that he can get it in his head what's happening. And so that us as an audience, because we're too fucking dumb to understand, can understand what's going on. And I was like, there's no way this was in the original, right? Like, there's no way they sat there and explained this to him in the original. Like, we had to put it together.
No, the original and Midsummer, which both have a very similar dialogue.
Yeah.
Lord Summerall was an empathetic anti-hero. He was not an evil villain. He was an anti-hero. He had an ideology that was in stark contrast to our main character's ideology, but he still felt he was right.
Yeah.
And he made a compelling case for it from the traditions of his place and the culture that he grew up in. And Midsommar does very much the same thing. This just comes out and says, we hate men and we're evil, so we're going to burn you, which is not nearly as compelling a story. Now, I know I'm saying that from my masculine perspective, but Jamie, you can tell me if I'm wrong, but she just came out and pretty much did the Wicked Witch of the East, drumming her fingers.
To be honest, I wasn't listening too much to her because I was losing my mind at this point. But yeah, I mean, the explanation for him made nowhere near as much sense as the original. Like in this,
they had their breeders already.
They had their breeders. They they talked about the crops at one point or whatever nonsense. Yep. But like then they're telling him like, and I think they told him this in the first one, but Dave, you could correct me. Like they tell him like whatever of like had to come of his own free will or whatever, or maybe he was righteous and whatever. But like, did he really come of his own free will when you use his fiance to again, the other one was like an anonymous note where like, do I have to really do anything about this? It's not my jurisdiction. It's not my whatever. This one, it's like you literally fucking set him up for it. There's no free will. You literally, I mean, in this movie world where everything works out exactly, but you literally found him 9 years ago, had sex with him, produced a child, ran away, whatever, and put this whole. And then they literally say, we put this in motion. Yeah. We set this whole thing up. So
they don't even leave it for you to guess that's what happened. They literally tell you. There is no free will.
You literally say you had to come of your, and then you tell how he had basically no free will. And you put this in motion control. 9 years ago and you set this. It's fucking, and these sentences, by the way, come like a minute apart. It's not even like they could forget about, like you said it earlier in the movie. And like they come maybe back to back.
Yep. Yeah. The thing that, and I thought about this as I was putting my notes together and paring down the rants and stuff that I did, trying to get it to something that we could actually talk about. Because I do think this is a fun conversation, even as much as I'm emotionally injured by this movie. I'll obviously get past it, but because it was something that was an affront to something that did matter to me, I did want to, have a conversation about it. But as I was thinking about it, the biggest problem in my sight is this culture does not seem real at all, even compared to something like, what is it, Starga, or what is the one in Midsommar? What is the community?
Don't ask me. It sounds something like that. It does have some kind of weird.
Oh, Harga.
Harga. Yeah. Even compared to something like Harga, or especially the original Wicker Man, where those are cultures and communities that aren't well written, but they are actually based on things that are real. So they feel more compelling. This feels like an evil commune written by a Hollywood writer kind of thing. This does not feel like something that's sustainable or realistic in any way. It just seems, this seems more like what you get in Tenebrae or in Suspiria, those cultures that are kind of, they're written to be singular in what they're doing instead of being something that's a little more deep and a little more diverse in an actual community or in an actual culture. That's what I think the biggest problem with this. And I mentioned this earlier. I think the second part of that is it's set in a place that has nothing to do with the culture that they're referencing.
No,
like it's off the coast of Seattle, up in the Puget Sound is where this island is, which again is a colonialized island. So we have problematic stuff to talk about there to start with, which is never referenced, but this is like their land, right? This is their community that they set up here in Washington. It's a problem, and it does take away from the folk horror aspect of it. And that's, and I'll just state it and I'll get your else feedback. I don't think this is the folk horror. I don't even think this is a horror. It's a melodrama.
Yeah, it's a thriller.
There are no real scares in this movie. I mean, this is cut for TV is kind of the way it feels to me. It's a PG-13 movie, which is always a red flag on stuff like this. But you can do really good PG-13s in a folk horror because a lot of the horror in a folk horror movie is mental, like it's suggested stuff. But this didn't suggest anything that was compelling to me. And then I had the obvious distraction of Nick Cage, the Chihuahua, chewing up scenes throughout the movie.
There's the one thing of horror when the guy with the sewn up mouth or whatever, and I think he might be missing a hand or an arm or something.
He's got sticks shoved in his stump.
They don't show it long enough to like really be like and then apparently the scene that's cut, which not that it's but like so what we could do now. So the scene that everybody references is
before we move from it though. The scene with the pilot sewn up and his hands cut off.
Yeah.
Best part of that scene is when Nick Cage, the detective, shakes him to see if he's asleep.
Isn't he a highway patrolman?
Yeah, he's a highway
playing a detective.
Yeah. But he literally shakes him to see if he's alive. I'm like, come on, Nick. Sorry, go ahead.
No, but now you reminded me to go back for one thing. As we've said a million times, he's a highway patrolman, which the movie opens with him not successfully saving a mom and daughter from an exploding car that just gets hit out of nowhere which
causing the accident himself.
The little girl causes the accident.
Yes,
I'm to blame. I'm blaming the little girl for everything because if she didn't throw her fucking doll out the window constantly, maybe we wouldn't have had to even stop or
she was a
fucking
brat. She was
die.
Weird.
Yeah, she was very weird. So the whole. Correct me if I'm wrong. And again, I was only partially paying attention and this movie is not deep, but I'm just asking that whole scene and that he keeps thinking back to it. Is this like why he's here to find this other girl? Because that in itself could be a motivating factor, but it's not when you tell me that also this little girl is his daughter, because like, of course he's going to come save his exes. Like, again, like we could have, if you're going to put that opening, if you're going to put that opening scene in there, then just make an anonymous note because it could be the equivalent to like, and I'm going to say this because it was literally on the other day. In The Sixth Sense, he wants to help fucking, what's his face? The little kid, because he failed Donnie Wahlberg, which I don't remember his name.
It's
but
his
he
redemption
failed
arc.
one kid, so he wants to help this other kid. It's very clear. It's very obvious. He literally says it at one point. In this movie, that could have been the reason he goes to this commune, whatever the fucking is. But instead...
Wouldn't that have been smart? Yeah.
Instead, he goes, I guess I'm just asking these questions to an audience who haven't, you guys, who obviously felt, but I'm just saying like, so now that opening scene means nothing to us, right? Because it's not the motivating factor. Now the motivating factor is that it's his fucking daughter. Like,
but we cut back to it all the time.
So I don't know. I'm just like, do you want to save this girl because you're trying to, not that you can't want to save a child for more than one reason, but like you didn't go because you didn't save one child. You went because it's your ex asking for help, I think.
Exactly.
Or it's twofold. It's my ex asking for help and now I could save a child because I didn't save the other child. The other child fucking in this movie deserved to fucking die. Maybe she should have stopped throwing her fucking doll out the window. She also
and then sit there and watch while the car's on fire while he's trying to dig her out.
I don't know children. Okay, we know my stance on them, and I don't know because I assume all my friends have like great children, like those are the ones I've like experienced. Dave, you as well, I'm sure. But like this girl in this movie, she looked older than like your youngest, I'm just saying, but she acted like she was fucking 3. Like, I'm confused. Do children still act this way at the age of like 10? Like this girl? I don't know. I don't know. And I'm just like, she looked too old to be acting the way she was acting.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that wasn't a child. I'll put
act like that. Anybody can act like that. I don't know.
That was a replicant. That's what we're going to assume. Oh, and on the same note, for all the buildup, quote unquote, before we get to the island, when he's at home and the girl shows up with the mail, the police officer friend, as soon as you see her, you're like, oh, you're in a cult.
Yeah, exactly.
That woman.
It was immediate. Like she was so twitchy. And then she hands him the bundle of mail and says, I wanted to bring this to you. And there's no stamp on the letter. Well, then you know where the hell it came from.
Yeah, it's...
And then there's the big reveal at the end that she's in the crowd. Yeah, she's in the fucking crowd.
Of course she is. Because this is all orchestrated. This is all orchestrated, but he came of his own free will. He came of his own fucking free will.
Of course.
When you plotted everybody around him to be part of it.
There was no manipulation whatsoever. I don't understand the problem here.
All we're missing is his cop friend being in there doing this too.
It would be. You'd have to set it up. He have to be a mute.
No, he's twirling a mustache like
he's
in
going,
the background. Oh my god!
The mutes. Oh
yeah.
Wait, I actually didn't think I would have much to say, but I actually have so much. The more I think about it, you reminded me of the end. Wait, let's go back for 1 second. Like, So neither any three of us have not seen this. Now I know Eli has, so it kind of sucks not having his little perspective on this, because I remember him telling me after the first one to go watch this one. God knows why, but
because he wants to see the world burn, Jamie.
True. But
that is accurate.
So the scene that everybody talks about that is not even in this fucking movie when you watch it is so. Oh, my question is: neither of you went to watch it. Have you ever seen it?
I've seen it.
20 seconds long.
I have not seen the B scene.
So it's like when they break his legs. Like first of all, if you watch the same version I watched, you don't see that either. You hear him yell, "My legs!"
Yeah, you hear it.
So in this version, you see it. They have it's kind of like a little misery thing going on. They it's just a big hammer or whatever. They break his legs. Then they put what is only to be said as oh no, it's probably used for some I don't know. I don't know if it's a real device or it's a torture device, because I don't know anything about beekeeping or anything. But they put a cage on Cage, if you will, on his head.
Yes.
It's like a screened in cage, and they pour the bees in. And they
on his face.
In this, after this, go watch it, because it's the scene, and he just starts yelling, "No, the bee!" It's it's a fucking thing. Everybody knows it. He just starts yelling over dramatic, in Cage-like form about the bees, and yelling the bees, and it's a meme. It's a gif, fucking everything. Go watch it. It's literally 15 seconds. It's a little bit extended because it's got the lead up that we don't see, but it's just them breaking his legs and whatever, and then them taking that thing off, and he's all puffy. And it's why when you see him next in the movie, he's got a swollen eye kind of, and whatever. And it's not because they beat him or whatever. They put the fucking thing on him and they let the bees do their thing.
And why does that get cut? I'm still mystified by the edit.
So let's do
rated R.
Do some research on why, but nothing happens in it. It's just bees on his face. It's less than
my girl has more than that, right?
Yeah, and he dies. That poor kid. That's a child death. Come on.
Yeah.
Oh, my girl.
Yeah, I don't know why. It could, maybe for time. We were already adding that extra minute and a half probably was too much. Yeah. We were at 1 hour and 41 with that final cut.
I'm going to tell you guys right now, because I didn't get this far today. Well, this was what the hell's with the edit of The Wicker Man on HBO Go. But so I saw someone say earlier that it was a DVD thing, but then I saw someone tell them that they were wrong. So I don't know if it's
go internet.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the different region. I'm trying to, but I don't even know. I want someone to tell me if it was in the theatrical. Did people ever see this scene or not until the DVD came out?
According to an article I saw, this was a TV cut specifically for TV.
And it becomes the mass distribution?
Well, no, I think that's how people were watching it the most, is when they didn't have to pay for it.
Gotcha.
It was just on TV. They edit it. And they put out
people just pay for that one. So here's all this is the not the bee scene. That's
is not the bee
the Wicker Man. And someone just wrote "not the bees!" exclamation point, becoming a popular meme. The scene, which comes as the neo-pagan dwellers of Summer Isle capture Malice, whatever his name is, and break both legs of his leg by pouring bees inside a wire mesh helmet. Originally aired in the unrated cut of The Wicker Man. Okay, but why is it? So I think it's what you're saying. I guess people just purchased the TV one or whatever.
Or some weirdo recorded it on TiVo, uploaded it to the internet, and then it spread like wildfire.
Yeah.
Any one of those
I don't
things.
Get it.
Or it was an unrated DVD.
Look it up when you're done. It takes 15 seconds to find. It's
I will. Yeah. And then I'll be done with it. I'll be past.
Yeah. Just look up the scene that caused viral talk about this movie, and then
And the sad thing is, you just described it, and that tells an audience who hasn't seen this movie everything they need to know about the rest of this movie. The scene that Jamie just describes, the 20 seconds that she just described, is apparently the biggest thing that happens in this entire movie. That's all you need to know. Well, and to that same point, because I know, and because Nick Cage is Nick Cage, God bless him, he still defends this movie to this day. He defends this movie because he still maintains that their intention from day one was to make a black comedy. I'm calling BS on that.
What? Yeah, he's backpedaling, right?
Yeah, he's trying desperately to have a counter argument to everything that the movie's about. But there are scenes like that, and then there's The one scene that I did roll my eyes vigorously at is when he's on the ferry going to the island.
One scene? Wait.
Well, there were plenty.
Your eye?
The biggest one to me, though, was when he's on the ferry and he's looking at the picture of the little girl in the red sweater. And then he sees a girl on the baluster with a red sweater. And the girl gets hit with a truck.
Yeah.
And I rolled my eyes. I'm like, this is like the kind of thing you'd see in Hot Shots or Naked Gun. I mean, it's that absurd the way these things are framed. It's so stupid. But as far as this being a Nick Cage, it's not smart enough to be not a Nick Cage, being a black comedy.
Yeah.
It's not smart enough to be a black comedy. And if you're making a black comedy, why would you call it The Wicker Man? There is so much baggage that comes along with that relationship that you're actively choosing to subvert, that I don't understand the appeal of doing it. If that's genuinely what he and the director's intention was to make a black comedy, other than the fact that you totally ripped off the script from The Wicker Man, why would you call it The Wicker Man?
Yeah, it's also, I think he doesn't, even in him backpedaling and saying that, I don't think he understands what a black comedy is. Black comedy is like Death to Smoochie. Black comedy is like, I'm trying to think what else falls in black comedy.
Like, Ready or Not.
Ready or Not, I guess that's horror. Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Cable Guy is like kind of a black comedy. Yeah, but it's something that's like, this would be, I think what he means is camp. Like it was intentionally supposed to be campy, which I still agree with you, Dave. None of this is true. I think they tried to make a remake of The Wicker Man. They failed miserably and they're taking it all back.
I do explain, yeah.
But like, I don't even think black comedy is the right term he's even looking for, because this movie isn't even a black comedy. There's nothing about it that would be black comedy to me. Yeah. I don't know. I get it because it's like a tragic ending in a way, but that's not the definition of black comedy. This movie is not the definition, even if it was good, of black comedy. I don't think, like, maybe if it was written completely different, yeah, I guess it could be. But there's
I mean, sure, he punches out four women, but
yeah, but it's not smart. But that's camp, right? Is that black comedy? Like,
exactly.
It's like,
and it's barely camp. Like it's not referential to.
No, this movie is just, it's bad. And they were trying to come up with any explanation on why it bombed instead of just accepting that movies bomb. And this is one of them. Like when someone was editing this, they should have been like, fuck, we need to read.
This needs to go to sleep. Yeah.
You just go all the way back.
Sometimes you get to the end of the movie and you realize you can't put that out.
Yeah. They didn't.
Nope.
Instead, they tack on. I say tack on because, again, this is like, I'm just saying this in regards like the original, which for me doing all this defense, I didn't even like the original, but like they tack on that ending. Can we talk about the 6 months later?
That was chef's kiss. Well, so good.
James Franco shows up.
I know, right?
What the
First
hell?
of all, talk about thinking your audience is so fucking dumb, but not
didn't get it.
Dumb. Like, yeah, did it? Like, yeah,
not gonna get it.
Either you think they are so fucking dumb that after we beat them over the head with it, we need to show them that this is going to continue.
You missed how brilliant we are.
It's like it. I can't even figure out what their motivation with that scene was. Like, did they think that was still like not a twist, but like a gotcha moment? Like, of course, you now told us this is what this community does. Like,
yeah. And we all know that Honey is the new Willow. She will be the next one to go out. We know
also,
that.
Can we talk about Willow attracting guys in their early 20s, but also guys in their however old Nicolas Cage is supposed to be? Like, is Willow just like, she's an attractive women, but what I mean is like, they just put her out there to like, doesn't matter the age range.
They cast a wide net, Jamie.
I mean, I get it. They don't need both the guys. It's going to be Leelee Sobieski's guy. Like, it's going to be James Franco, who's like the guy, and Willow's just distracting the other guy. But it's like, I don't know. If you saw those two, wouldn't you think like it's Leelee Sobieski and her mom in the bar and be like,
exactly,
I don't know.
At minimum, her older
yeah,
sister.
She doesn't look. Yeah, she doesn't look like old enough. She's an attractive woman, so like it's whatever. But like,
she's an attractive robot. I'll give you that.
The Threegan. Oh man.
But yeah, I that tells you how much they think of their audience.
I could not believe we got a 6 months later card, and I was like, no way.
What's happening 6 months later? And then it's like happens.
It's like you even know, like you see it's a bar, and you're literally like,
I get it.
I know where this is going. Like, are you fucking kidding me with this movie? I don't know.
I had no idea they'd do this one more time.
Wait,
what?
I just like, I can't think off the top of my head too. Another movie. I made this complaint before, but like another one that literally has such little faith in their audience to figure shit out as this dumb movie, which isn't even complicated. It's one thing if maybe you were complicated, but it's a very easy to follow movie. In that
your movie has no subtext. What do you think? What are you worried about? There is no deeper meaning here.
I'd be interested to know, was this something the executives were like, look, guys, you're going to need to add this in because people are not going to get it. And it does feel totally like Frankenstein together. It doesn't feel cohesive at all, except the two actresses.
I think they thought it was like another, and I say this from their perspective, I think they thought it was going to be another fun gotcha moment. Like, I think they thought that like it would play off like, oh my God, look, they're still doing like that. We didn't think that they were already, I don't know. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, I think they thought it was another, not twist really, but another twist to end the movie on. Like they literally thought that was like the Sixth Sense ending. They were like, you know what? We just show that they're out there getting another guy.
We already had 5 reveals in the scene prior. Let's do another one.
Yeah, I think I'm with John. That's a producer coming in saying, hey guys, listen, did a screening with some family last night. Love the movie. Let me say that up front. Great stuff. You guys are fantastic. Little note, don't hate me, but my cousin came in and he had a real hard time with one of the points in the movie. If you just think about it for a second, wouldn't it be just aces if we threw a little 6 months later scene in there to really show our audience what these gals are up to? Just think about it. I think you're right, John. I think that's what happened.
I felt like I was there. I was just the PA in the room. I was not the director. I was not the writer.
But maybe I'm dumb because now I have a question. Wait, I have a question as being a viewer of this movie though. So Willow, she met Nick Cage.
Yeah.
At whatever age, had a relationship with him deep enough to get engaged and deep enough for him to impregnate her. Okay. That's an easy thing to do. You just don't use birth control. And not easy. Some people have problems. I'm sorry.
Please, no, sorry, wait, women. No, remember, I'm the same audience that they've. Jamie, I need you to go into great detail and explain to me exactly how all of that happens. Because remember, I'm an audience of the Wicker Man.
But so I'm trying to understand as an audience of the Wicker Man who explained everything to me. So they explained to me that Willow meets him. She makes him fall in love with her. She leaves him theoretically at the altar, not the altar, but they're engaged. She leaves him. And then she goes on and has his child. Then her child gets to be, I don't know, 9 years and then participates in this fake participant. Sorry, this is where my confusion is. Like, are they doing this every year so that they have men set up every year, or they only have men every 9 years coming to this island? Like this girl was old, like the daughter, was old. Like they didn't even pull Nick Cage in when the kid was 3 or 2. Like my baby went missing and it's yours and whatever. Like they literally waited till this girl was 9 to pull Nick Cage into this plot, into this little plan. So now you got Leelee Sobieski picking up James Franco now, but James Franco's not going to be back till 9 years later.
Exactly.
It depends when the crops fail.
What is going on here? Is that what it's only when they fail? Then they go get him back? I think it's a
sleeper cell situation. Like they have somebody in pocket.
Okay. So
or when the bees don't do what bees are supposed to do.
Thank you. Because you know what? They didn't explain that to me.
Exactly.
They did not explain that part.
Well, I mean.
Well, that's the funny thing about this movie is sometimes they beat you over the head with it, and some stuff they just throw out there, and you're like, "What the hell are you talking about?"
I knew the crops failed, and I knew whatever, but it's just now when you start thinking about their plan, he came back 9 years later. How are you going to know? And now 6 months later, they're setting up the next guy. So when is he being?
You got to keep them kids coming.
On the same point, another example of that is when he gets attacked by the bees and then he wakes up in Sister Summerisle's bed and said, "What did you use? The EpiPen?" She said, "No, we had to use an older method." And we see these 3 dots on his arm. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? What is the older? What is it that you did to this man? Because it might be interesting. But
might be better than what I'm seeing.
Dave,
and then we see the 2 women in the background just staring at him. And I'm
twins?
like, okay,
what?
Yeah. It's like, what happened? Just
the older twins.
You've beat me the head.
Oh, they're
over the head with everything else. Why won't you tell me what you did to this man?
I will say, like, since you brought up that scene, there is not enough, because I don't know her character name. There's not enough Frances Conroy in this movie, because when they let her go like Cage, which is not often, but like American Horror Story has, and like, but when they let her get weird, like, come on,
she chews scenery. Yeah,
they should have fucking let her be much weirder in this movie. She should have played Summer Isle or whatever. Like, she should have played someone much more important in this movie. And can we go to Summer Isle for a second? Because he shows up. I'm sorry. I'm monopolizing this conversation.
No,
just keep going.
He shows up, right? Okay. He's
the
looking
hate
for a
is
missing
strong
child.
with you, Jamie.
He's looking for a missing child. It's obvious that everybody on this island is just fucking playing him from the moment he shows up, and they play a joke on him. So, like, everybody keeps mentioning this Lady Summer, right? She's called Lady Summer.
Sister.
I don't remember. Like, she's called Sister too. I didn't know she had a higher thing.
No, I think she's Sister.
She's also Sister. Everybody's talking about Sister Summer Isle and that you have to do things by her code and whatever. And now again, I don't know. I don't remember in the original. I know it's a man, and I don't remember how. But like, Nick Cage literally feels like he goes days before he even wants to talk to this Sister Summer Isle, who runs the whole fucking.
The person we already know knows everything.
Knows everything. He's just sitting here and talking to every meaningless person.
Swimming under docks.
He's telling him that Sister Summer Isle runs everything. And he's just like, I don't need to speak to her. She's not important at all. It's not.
I'll get there. I have a method.
So in the original, did he go right to that guy? Like, does he not meet him right away? I feel like he meets him
No, he works his way to him on the same day. Okay. Like on the first day, he works his way
to, okay. But still. It feels more natural.
That was the British way. This is the California Highway Patrol way.
Just ignore the woman running everything.
Because you are a California Highway Patrolman. You know that all of that information is a bunch of red herrings. It's never the guy everybody tells you it is. He's smarter than that. It's got to be the freaking barmaid.
Yeah. Now, because you're going to the barmaid, did anyone else find it kind of ridiculous that the movie talked about its own plot hole with the states?
Yes.
Because of his authority. Why are you even bringing that up? And why wouldn't you place him in Washington to begin with? It's the most ridiculous thing in the world. But you know what? I mean, I'll tip a cap to him. It's like, okay, you're going to point out your own problem.
Stupidity. Yeah. We know what we did, and we done it.
And we're committed. It's very American.
It's like that meme. I know I'm going to get got, but I'm going to get mine more than I get got.
I've not seen that shirt.
Also, this might be my last note. This is my last note, I think. This is someone's going to have to. Besides that, I wrote in quotes. I know everybody talks about the bees. Like, I know that's the thing for this movie, and it's like it's not even in the movie. And again, we'll have to reference again how on point my shirt is in many ways about this movie. He starts yelling to is it Willow when he says how to get burned, and he keeps
I love that scene.
How is that not more popular than the bees?
Good.
I was like, I went on a tangent because that's my only other note. But like, there is one more note. But yeah, I want to go there for a second.
Abusive husband in that moment. About the doll.
Like, everybody talks about the fucking bees, but that line, I had to write it down because of the way he says it and how he says it 8 times. And like,
that's so good.
And he's shaking it in her face. And whatever.
Yes.
But again, it's so obvious that she's involved. Like, it's just like this woman. Like, literally is in denial about her daughter being burned alive versus, and this is what I'm saying is these are the stories he's getting as he's investigating. So she's just like, no, she wasn't burned alive. But like, it's so fucking dumb. Yep. Like, why not even from the beginning? Okay, wait, I'm going back. If you want to use this woman as a plot point, if you want to use her as the motivation,
you're going to put her in there as a new character.
Why not have her literally play innocent like she's doing? So now they have her playing innocent, even though she's not, but why not have her fully play innocent and say they're going to sacrifice my daughter? Yeah. They're going to sacrifice my daughter. Yeah. I need help saving her. Literally. Not this nonsense of I don't even she disappeared into thin air, but there's all this obvious stuff on the island about her. Like, anyway.
Oh, she's just got a shrug. That's it.
She should have just played innocent. This character should not have existed in this movie. It's just so fucking, it creates so many inconsistency and like plot holes and dumb shit that like I can't.
I really want somebody to listen to this show and not watch the movie. Listen to this.
This is more fun. I'll tell you that right now.
Listen to this, and then for them to go, fuck it, I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah. We might.
And then at the end they go, damn it, they were right.
Or wow, they made it seem like more fun than that.
Well, this might convince them. So his big plan to save this girl, right? Besides he's in the bear costume.
Oh, the bear costume.
We'll go to the bear. Wait, he's in the bear costume. Hi, Midsummer, but he's in the bear costume and like
sprinting through the woods.
So his big plan, literally in front of a whole community of people that he knows is against him, is to march right up to the post, punch a woman, and untie this girl in front of a whole town of people who are obviously just going to chase after him. Like, that's his big plan. His big plan is to literally do that. Now I thought he's going to be like stealthy. He just runs right up in front of everybody, punches.
Broad daylight.
So good.
He has, as the kids say, he has hit. Fuck it.
Oh, wow. I haven't heard that phrase either. Oh, man.
He has lost all concern.
See, why didn't he sneak through the woods behind her and like untie her like a fucking like cartoon or something? Like, why?
He's in disguise, Jamie.
Yeah,
he was even called sister, as if his skinny frame would even match that other woman's frame, or even like, but that suit fit him perfectly.
Suit that they had to let out every year.
Yeah.
Seen earlier.
Oh my gosh. But when she goes, "What's wrong, sister?" and then he clocks her in the face. I mean.
He's just swinging at that point.
I mean, it just feels like a movie out of time or out of place. It's just like unabashed. Like Nick Cage is going to take out the ladies. Like, I would love to see him in a karate class because those kicks are just ridiculous, and his running. The physical comedy and the looks on his face. I don't know. I mean,
it's a black comedy.
It's a black comedy.
He thought it was probably. No one else knew. No one else knew. But oh man, sorry, Jamie. Finish it up.
No, that was I was just laughing at his plan because like we all know it's not going to go anywhere because they're in on that. Like that's part of the plan is for him to fucking save the girl or whatever. But like in his mind, he somehow thought that was a great idea to just in front of everybody walk up there, punch someone in broad daylight, and take the girl and run away with her, like on an island where he can't get off because he got on it by plane and that plane is gone.
But he managed to get away for a minute if it wasn't for that sneaky little girl. Yeah. When he gets out of the bear costume, did anyone else notice he kept the bear shoes on?
Of course he did.
Oh, yeah, of course. But he didn't have shoes.
That's just practical, John. Come on.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God. Yeah, you know what? From his perspective, I could see how he might have thought he was making a black comedy. He's just totally aloof and crazy.
It's just like
it's ridiculous. It's obnoxious.
It's so dumb.
I will say that it was it wasn't interesting. It was validating to me that I found out that Hardy, the director of the original, after viewing this, demanded that the filmmakers take his name out of the credits. And Christopher Lee never spares any opportunity to absolutely trash this movie.
Really? That's funny.
Well, I know he's past this point, but anytime he was asked about the remake, he would get giddy like a young boy and just lay into this movie like it was the biggest abomination on the planet. I just feel validated by that.
I just I know I'm not a fan of like the original, but that aside, like I don't even see how you pick this of all movies to remake in 2006. Exactly. I don't know because again, take me back to 2006, but you just said we got like Feast, which was like not a major, but I'm just saying, and we got Pan's Labyrinth. And that wasn't like a year of remakes, was it? Like that's not when we were doing like when we were bringing like now we are, fucking Halloweens and like all these, but like unless like even if it is like the year of remakes, we were always remaking like slashers and like well-known, like who picked the Wicker Man and said we need to remake this in modern era with Nick Cage? Like I'm so confused.
Yeah, if I could go back in time, I would say, all right, here's the deal, Hollywood. You can do the Wicker Man, but if it makes money, you can keep remaking. But if it doesn't make money, you can't remake another movie ever.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because this for a horror movie, you would think, oh, let's make its money back, no problem. I looked it up; it lost $2 million on the books.
Yeah.
Which is like that's like losing $1 billion these days. It's crazy.
Yep. It's just an odd pick to me, unless they thought like. Now I've always known of the Wicker Man, I just never watched it. So that's what because like unless they just thought it was like a lesser known movie that they could redo and like you'd get a broader audience. I just don't know what they thought here with remaking of all movies, The Wicker Man. Again, it's not a slasher. It's not a well-known property in that respect.
It's like not a commercial film to start with.
Exactly. Like, so why, who said?
Yeah.
My guess would be a studio had the rights to it. And if they didn't exercise those rights, they'd lose it. So.
I forget about those kind of things.
That does happen.
Okay. Yeah.
It's still not a great reason, but
but that's a reason. Like, it's like a reason.
Here's I'll just run down a quick list of the top horror movies of 2006.
Oh,
this is one of our favorites, Slither, came out.
Oh, see, come on, yeah.
The Hills Have Eyes remake came out.
Oh,
yeah, but that did really well. I'm just saying, like that's a well-known remake. So okay.
Let's see. Death Note, Silent Hill came out in 2006.
The original,
really?
Yeah. The Host,
okay.
Fido, that's a great classic black comedy horror.
I've actually
movie.
never seen that, but
now that is a black comedy.
That's a zombie one, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. Let's see, Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Beginning. That's the one with the Vampire Diaries girl in it. Let's see, Hatchet. Their first Hatchet came out that year, like I said before. Mm-hmm.
We just that's. Wait, I thought we said the original. It was Hatchet, or it was okay.
It was Hatchet, and Feast came out in.
They both were 2006. I picked. Yep. Wait, are you telling me I picked 3 2006 movies?
Yeah, if you look at our episodes.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I picked Hatchet too. I'm sorry. Sorry. But wow.
But Feast and Pan's Labyrinth also came out.
And then if I would have stuck with regular Hatchet, but I thought it was funny to pick 2 with Evil Dead 2.
Anyway, it was a big year to come out with something like this. That
I'm just confused because like it's. Unless like the year before, you got to think about when these things go in production. So I'm trying to think, unless like the years leading up were like big remake years and they just literally were running out of things to remake. I don't get it. Yeah. John's explanation makes the most sense to me because otherwise I can't figure out.
Wow. I mean, listening to the list that Dave threw down, and I started thinking about the movies that came out like a year or 2 before that, like the Texas Chainsaw remake, when that came out, that thing did so well. People were shocked. And I would imagine that they're like, oh, let's go back to the well.
Hungry. And I think the Friday the 13th came out right after this, didn't it? Like they were in production.
2009, I think, was Friday the 13th.
I like the Friday the 13th remake.
Yeah.
So.
I think that one's not that bad.
No, it's not. People rip it apart for like.
I think The Hills Have Eyes is the best of that era of remakes.
Hills Have Eyes, I have a problem watching that one, but yes, it is a good remake. It's a good it's a good remake.
Yeah. It's a tough watch for me too. I can't.
But like I was looking up when Friday the 13th was.
But no, that's
2009. We just said 2009 Friday the 13th.
But I think we've been in remake mode probably since the like early 2000s. That's what it feels like.
Yeah. Winona Ryder turned down the role of Willow.
Shut up.
After reading the script.
Really?
Just wanted to throw that out there too. I've got
no way. Could you imagine Winona Ryder opposite Nicolas Cage?
No, she was smart enough to
read the script.
No way.
The ages would probably be a little bit closer though.
What did y'all think of the dedication at the end of this movie to Johnny Ramone?
I laughed my ass
I was very confused by that. Is there something I should know? I
had to look it up because I'm like, what the hell?
Because I got really confused and I forgot to even write that down because I was already starting to clean up. Like I was turning it off. And I went to turn it off and I was just like, huh.
It's like the first part of the credits too. Exactly. It's not towards the end. It's like right up front, just so you know.
Yeah. So tell us why.
Apparently, that was a request from Nicolas Cage to the director Neil LaBute because Johnny Ramone is the one who introduced Nicolas Cage to the original Wicker Man, which, ladies and gentlemen, is all the proof you'll ever need that no good deed goes unpunished.
Wow.
But now Ramon has his name attached to this one because of how much he loved the original one.
Oh my God.
Oh, that's so funny.
Wow.
That is a very Nicolas Cage type story.
It is. That is totally hilarious. Expect that. Yeah, that's fucking funny. But
as soon as I saw it, I had to know. Like,
I was very confused. I was like, the director, were they like BFFs? Where did I miss a song in this?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
It shows you the kind of clout Nick Cage had back then. I'm sure it was like him coming off the Con Air Rock days that really kind of like set him up to be undirectable. It's like
exactly.
I can't even imagine that. Like the director can't do anything. It's just like, oh, that's it. That's the cut.
If we hire him, that's what he has to tell the production team. If you hire him, he's gonna do what he's gonna do. Just be aware, it's not my fault.
Oh God.
And some directors roll with that pretty well. So any other thoughts on this movie? I will say, just in my final thoughts, the reason I'm so angry is, again, because of how much I cherish the original. And I get that's personal preference. I wanted to bring my opinion for all of my brothers and sisters who, like me, enjoy folk horror. If you haven't seen this, like I hadn't seen this, I had actively avoided this movie because I knew what it was. I knew it was bad because that's all everybody talks about it. But I think the biggest problem for me is it's not folk horror. Like, so it shouldn't be called The Wicker Man, because The Wicker Man is sort of a sacred part of folk horror. And folk horror, and we covered a lot of this in our review of that movie, is all about the quicksand feeling, like the feeling of you are being manipulated from moment one. I didn't get any of that. Like, it was so obvious what was happening in this. There was no intelligent manipulation of the main character to lead them to a set of events, subverting their beliefs. So, John, I'll give you last word because I think I've said my piece. Me and Jamie have had a fun tirade on this movie.
Oh man, it was a fun tirade indeed. I'm shocked we talked this much about this movie, but no, it's Nick Cage. The black comedy for one.
Exactly. The one-man show.
For one. Yeah.
Well, and be honest, John. I mean, if you were going to watch this movie, who better to have watched it with than us? I mean, at least we had the entertainment of putting this content together, right?
Honestly, I couldn't imagine sitting down. If anybody goes, oh yeah, let's watch Wicker Man. Like this will never be ever again, ever. So again, I hope there's one person out there that's like, wow, that's a good conversation. I want to go watch that now. Like and subject themselves to this. I want you to write into the show. I want you to email Dave and just tell him you're right, man.
I will say, I do think we have this and two more similar conversations coming.
Yeah.
But, that's just my guess based on where we're going.
I think at least one. The last one on the list, I've heard some people like
me, but like I don't know that other people. I think I don't want to speak from Eli. Might until he rewatches it and he turns on me again. That's what's going to happen. Like he's going to rewatch it and he's going to turn on me. He's done that before. He's done that before to me. Yeah, he's gone both ways. He's turned on me and gone for the movie when I thought he hated it with me, and then he's turned on me and liked the movie and hated it by the time we got to recording. So we'll see what happens when we do that one. But anyway,
you never know with Eli. He is our loose cannon for sure.
That's neither here nor there.
I can't even remember. What is your last one, John?
Are you going to spoil it?
Dave, you can't spoil it. They don't even know they don't know what's coming up next.
I know what's coming.
I'll look it up later. Audience, you are in the dark. Sorry.
Yeah.
So that is our thoughts on The Wicker Man 2006, the non-wicker Wicker Man. It is that plastic wicker chair that Home Depot sells. That's what this is. This is the plastic garden furniture that's pressed to look like wicker. It is not wicker. Okay. That's all I'll say about that. So we do have a Dave's Critter Corner. Any guesses what our critter for this week is?
The bees. No.
100% the honeybees. In particular, we would assume, because of the story that Sister Summerowl gives it, that these are probably Western or European honeybees. Same group, two different names. They're all Apis mellifera. Brought to the U.S. in 1622. Little known trivia fact, there are no honeybees that are native to North America. They were all imported. All of the the main pollinators that were here before honeybees were brought over were leafcutter bees and mason bees and resin bees. But yeah, there were no honeybees. Honey was not a thing in North America until the Europeans brought it over. They live in colonies of 40,000 to 80,000 bees in a hive. Average lifespan of a bee in the colony is 1 to 2 years. The queens can live to be 4 to 5 years.
Wow!
But usually, if you have an apiary and you're kind of cultivating bees, you usually replace a queen after 2 years. That's just what you do. That's part of keeping the hive healthy, because as the queen ages out of production, you get fewer bees every year. So they replace you every couple of years. Workers can fly up to 15 miles per hour. While very important pollinators for flowers, fruits, and vegetables, honeybees are less efficient than other pollinators like butterflies and mason and leafcutter bees. Both, and I actually have on my property, I've set up mason bee houses. So I did a lot of this research. But like a honeybee is like 8% as efficient at moving pollen from one plant to another as a mason bee is, because, and this is cute, you'll enjoy this, Jamie, because a honeybee lands on the petal, then crawls into the middle, while a mason bee will belly flop into the middle of a flower. Like it just impacts, it like crashes into the flower and it gets in, and just plumes, it like cannonballs into the flower.
The way that bee thinks.
Exactly. Which I just think is a great mental image of this little bee just going full slam party into the flower.
And now imagine it looks like a bumblebee, just for fun. Just
a giant hairy bumblebee belly flopping into flowers. I mean, come on, that has to make you smile. That has to have been worth listening to the last hour of us talking about a movie that we hated. So anyway, the colony organization consists of 3 main parties, which is the queen, which is female, workers, which are the ones that go out and pollinate, which are also female, and then a group of drones, which are the only males in the colony. Several hundred drones are kept in the hive to mate with the queen. That's their only purpose. But when winter comes every year, the workers push all the drones out into the winter to die. They do not keep drones over the wintertime. At that time. And there was a reference in this movie to royal jelly, which I think is what they brand the jelly that comes off of summer owl. But royal jelly in a beehive is what they feed a young larva to stimulate it to become a queen. Like they feed it a very specific form of the food that they've produced called royal jelly. And that actually stimulates the young larva to become a queen, which is pretty cool.
Wow.
Bees communicate in 2 main ways, which is pheromones and dancing. And I'll leave you with that one. Come on. That's pretty great, right? They love to dance. And you should look up if you want a happy moment. And I know he doesn't listen to the podcast, but Joe Charnews and I had to talk about this. Honeybee TikTok and honeybee reels on Instagram will change your life. That's all I'm going to say. Just look up honeybee dances. And just watch them do their little dances, and they're put to like disco and stuff like that. It's a lot of fun. That's my dad moment to the audience. If you need a happy day, go watch some bumblebees getting down. And that's all I have for our critter of this corner. Obviously, we don't know what the Campfire Tales is about. I have an idea because I know Eli. I have an idea because I know that Eli watched this movie. Because he was planning on being here. Just something came up at the last minute. So I don't know what it's going to be, but I'm sure it's going to be a humdinger.
I have another idea, but I think it would matter on if I can make it or not. Part 3 of another. Yeah. But I don't know that I can. So yeah. So I don't know. But anyway, that's just
anytime we talk about cult, that's the first thing.
I know. That's so I don't know. I don't know.
You have to talk to your boy. But again, I think you're right. I think it depends on if you're going to be able to come, because why would he have a 2 cults in live? Jamie's not going to be there. We'll see.
I have a question.
Stay tuned.
I have a question for you, Dave. Do you think that this movie did for bees what Jaws did for?
Thank God.
No. I can't even get that out.
No, I think this movie is why the mystery of so many bees leaving their colony exists. I think they are the reason for the bee genocide in North America.
Mm-hmm.
It's this movie because
it's a bold choice.
Yeah.
Bold decisions.
So if you enjoyed the episode, please subscribe, rate the show, give us some comments, let us know what you thought of the episode. Visit our website, thewickedwild.com, where we have book reviews, movie reviews, and other things like that. You can learn more about each of the hosts. If you want to follow us on social media and really get into some conversations, you can do that on X at Wicked While We Are, at Slasher, which is the horror only community, at Wicked While We Are there as well. On Instagram, we are at Wicked While Pod, so you can find us there. If you want to view the episode, which this one will be interesting. We'll see how the video actually comes out for this one. You can do that on YouTube. Just search the Wicked Wild Podcast. If you have any questions or feedback, or just want to open a conversation or give me your thoughts on the Wicker Man, either version, you can send me an email, podcast @thewickedwild.com. And John, I just have one final question for you.
All right, what you got?
Get ready to close this bad boy out. Who has the testicular fortitude to look at this script and accept the leading role? It would have to be a Nicolas Cage. I think we have the IRS to thank for this role and him taking it.
Oh my God.
Could be. I mean, definitely he owed a lot.
Apparently. And some things karma can't fix. I'll put it that way. So hope y'all have a good night, and we'll talk to you next week. Bye.